From He-Man action figures to Star Wars collectibles, here's our list of the top 8 rarest toys owned by rich people. Number 8, He-Man action figure. If you're an 80s baby like me, then He-Man will be no stranger to you. He-Man is the hero with superhuman strength who fights to defend his home of Eternia from arch-rival Skeletor. By all the powers of Greyskull, he was a big hit in the 80s, and especially for the first person on our list. It might surprise you to find out who it is. But first, let's talk about the toy. Like any franchise, it comes with its own merchandise, and this popular item is from the He-Man collection and is one of the rarest action figures in the world. So much, in fact, that our celebrity collector auctioned it for over $9,000, but then decided to take it off eBay. Maybe it wasn't enough money, or maybe he just became too connected to it. Have you guessed who it is? Well, the owner of this rare action figure is none other than Leonardo Di Caprio. This Oscar award-winning actor is best known for his incredible roles that he takes on, but acting isn't his only passion. He's also an avid toy collector. Among his action figures, he is also the owner of several rare Star Wars toys. We don't know whether he actually plays with them, but considering the fact that the He-Man action figure was left in pristine condition and still locked within its box, we're guessing he's more of a collector than anything else. Number 7, anything vintage. This might be you. Alongside merchandise from the films and TV shows that we all know and love, a big fan favorite with the toy collectors is vintage toys. While back in the day, they would have just been sold for the normal price range of a toy. They are now worth a small fortune. So if you or your parents still have any of their old toys from their childhood hiding in the attic, then it might be worth checking whether they're valuable at all. But our next Richie on the list didn't want to give up his collection of vintage toys. Massachusetts-born Donald Kaufman was a retired army man when he turned his attention and skill to toys, taking over the family business, Kaufman Brothers. The toy shop turned into one of the biggest collections of vintage toys to date, starting with his original International Harvester Red Baby truck, which he himself owned some years earlier and bought for only, get this, $4. His collection overall included 7,000 toys and was worth $7 million. Sadly, Kaufman died of a heart attack in 2009, but his legacy lives on. His wife said that he didn't just see a toy, he would look at the toy and think about the history. He thought about what it was made of, the design, and the people who sat there and made it. He would hold it and say, if it can only talk. Number 6, Rancho Obi-Wan. From one collection to another, while Kaufman's collection revolved mainly around vehicles such as cars and planes, our next collection would have been heaven on earth for Leonardo Di Caprio. Rancho Obi-Wan is the biggest Star Wars collection in the world. The owner, Steve Sansweet, began his collection from his career with Lucasfilms. After graduating with his career as a journalist, he turned his attention to the production of movies and became the connection between Lucasfilms and fans by attending Comic-Cons and other various places where fans of the Star Wars saga would gather together to celebrate the franchise. Over this time, which is estimated to be 40 years, he started a private collection which soon amassed to being the largest collection in the world. So much so that he had to buy a separate building to house the many toys and other memorabilia related to the films. He opened up his museum as a non-profit organization and called it Rancho Obi-Wan. However, having such a public image left Sansweet open to theft, and in 2017, $200,000 worth of products were stolen from his museum. While the culprit has been arrested and punished, only 5% of the stolen items were returned. Not to say that he doesn't still have the most impressive collection in the world, it actually even holds a Guinness World Record. And now for one that might surprise you, but first, what do you think number 1 is? Let us know in the comments below. Remember to subscribe and click the bell before you leave. Number 5, teddy bears. Teddy bears have been a staple toy with children's lives, so much so that many people still hold on to their childhood teddy bears long into adulthood and pass them down through generations to ensure that the sentimental value lives on for many years to come. But our next person on the list, Paul Greenwood, didn't just have one teddy bear that he held on to. He had a collection of 1,300 teddy bears, all of which were incredibly rare. Some were one of a kind, and Greenwood had spent lots of money to collect them. However, that was where his problem started. While collectors often make money from their trade by taking paid interviews, Greenwood in fact ended up in prison for how he had gathered his earnings. He swindled investors out of a ridiculously large sum of $554 million. He pled guilty to the charge of fraud and in 2009 was imprisoned. Of course, he couldn't take any of his teddy bears with him. Number 4, fidget spinners. Through the years, there have been so many crazes that have come and gone, and a lot of them involve toys like Crazy Bones, Beyblades, Bratz dolls, and others. That's just within the space of 10 years. But the newest craze that took the world by storm in April 2017 was the introduction of the fidget spinner. They've been around, or similar products anyway, since 1993, but only became popular within the last year. For those of you that don't know, they're a little spinner with a ball bearing in the middle that you can hold onto with your thumb and forefinger and spin around. The aim of the fidget spinner is actually for concentration and to relieve stress. Many children with conditions such as ADHD feel the need to constantly be doing something with their hands, so this little toy is perfect for that. They retail normally at around $5 each, as they're pretty inexpensive to create. But just a simple $5 fidget spinner doesn't belong on this list. How about one worth $700? While that's not much in comparison to some of the others on our list, it's still a hefty amount for a toy. The Bathgate Artifact Spinner was designed by Chris Bathgate, as the name indicates. Looking like something that Batman would use in combat, this spinner is made out of a stainless steel. It's probably due to its aesthetics that makes it worth so much money, as it looks way too heavy to complete its proper purpose. Would you guys and gals buy this? Number 3, Happy Meal toys. This one may surprise you. McDonald's Happy Meals have been around since June 1979. The meal includes a main of your choice, a snack, a drink, and best of all, a little toy. The toys are usually based on something that's recently been released in movie theaters that is kid-friendly. There's been ones based on Nintendo Super Mario, Lego Batman, Chatty Cathy, Shrek, Neopets, and Pokemon, to name a few. There's normally a selection of toys that you can have, and you don't know what you're going to get until you open up your Happy Meal, which can either lead to excitement or disappointment. But one big kid that collects them and has collected them for a long time is TV personality Rosie O'Donnell. She's been collecting them since she was young, and McDonald's have even offered to send out the Happy Meal toys to her as they're released. O'Donnell said that took all the fun out of it, and that the whole process of her going to McDonald's, ordering the meal, and eating, and then seeing what the toy had was something she really enjoyed doing. She even took road trips from one McDonald's to another in search of the rarest Happy Meal toys. Her favorite collection was when the 101 Dalmatians was released in 1996, and they released 101 toys that you could possibly get. She was sent all of them by McDonald's, and though she was a little annoyed because of what we just mentioned, she said she felt an incredible level of joy when she saw all of them. Number 2, board games. Another famous person on our list is the renowned director of some of the best and most violent films in the world, Mr. Quentin Tarantino. While it may be hard to imagine that he could be interested in toys due to the graphic and gory details of some of his movies that he's directed, he's an avid collector of toys, specifically board games and rare dolls. Similarly to teddy bears, there are some of the rarest dolls in the world that can add up to a pretty penny when sold at auction. Many franchise-related board games aren't manufactured in bulk like some games. Monopoly, for example, will be manufactured in bulk, whereas the Dukes of Hazzard board game was more of a niche. That's one of the board games that Quentin Tarantino owns, and if you hadn't guessed already, based on the comedy TV series, the board game is one of the rarest in the world. And it's obvious that Tarantino values it, as while he was directing a 2-part episode of CSI, he had 2 of the characters playing the board game on screen, showcasing it. It's a little Easter egg for those that don't know, but it's pretty cool once you do. Number 1, Batman. Finally, we have Batman. We mentioned him earlier with the fidget spinner, and I'm sure it won't be long before we see him using a fidget spinner as a weapon. And it will probably look like the Bathgate spinner. With every franchise comes its merchandise, and alongside Star Wars and Marvel, DC has a pretty electric range of merchandise from collectors everywhere, no matter if you're hardcore or casual. Take a guess as to who our next guy on the list is. Jordan Hembrow, otherwise known as Toy Hunter. He has made a living and a TV show from visiting the largest collections of toys in the world, and sometimes, of course, buying some for his own private collection. He specializes in Batman and Star Wars, and one of his rarest and most valuable items is the 1966 Batman equipment set, which has a helmet, cape, and a utility belt. He sold this for just over $20,000. Wow! Thanks for watching. Do you have any rare toys? Let us know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Peachy Planet.